Citizens across the world are burdened with high income taxes. However, there are some countries where people are not charged any tax on their income. Instead of income taxes, these countries have alternative sources of revenue to fund their government, such as tourism, investing, oil production, or mining. Although taking advantage and living in a no-income tax country is not as easy as packing a suitcase and buying a plane ticket. In most instances, the process is lengthy and expensive. Some countries will purposefully keep the barrier of entry high to only attract top investment. Secondly, tax authorities of different countries were hit hard by the loss of dozens of multimillionaires and billionaires who have chosen to obtain citizenship in more tax-friendly countries. In response, these authorities have made it increasingly difficult and expensive to renounce their citizenship by imposing an expatriation tax that can become extremely expensive. So here are 10 best countries with zero income tax. Number 10. St. Kitts and Nevis. The full list of countries with no income tax is, quite unsurprisingly, dominated by the Caribbean tax havens, and probably the number one choice which allows you to easily establish residency and/or citizenship is the island nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Like the other countries on this list, St. Kitts and Nevis has no income tax at all, nor just about any taxes of any kind for that matter. They receive most of their revenue from tourism and their offshore financial industry. It is easy to establish permanent residence in St. Kitts and Nevis, and they also offer the oldest and most well-known citizenship by investment program around. Number 9. Oman. Oman has been named the safest and the friendliest country in the world for expats to live and work. It is no different than any other Gulf countries. Taxation in Oman is levied, broadly taxable income at 1% on businesses and companies. Small taxpayers pay zero income tax, and big oil companies engaged in petroleum operations are subject to tax at 25%. Oman is actually a country with steady growth and development, leaving citizens to live a comfy and leisure life with low or zero income taxes. Number 8. The Bahamas. Located off the coast between Miami and Cuba, the Bahamas is one of the richest countries in this list with its turquoise waters and white sandy beaches. It earns this rank thanks to its robust economy bolstered by tourism and offshore finance. Overall, the country has good infrastructure and services. The one area where services are considered a bit below par is the area of medicine. Many U.S. expats who have chosen to make the Bahamas home still travel back to the U.S. for significant medical care. Additionally, it is extremely easy to obtain an annually renewable temporary residence permit in the Bahamas for $1,000. You will need to invest at least $250,000 in real estate in order to establish permanent residence, though, which allows you to become a tax resident. Number 7. Cayman Islands. When most people think of tax havens, the Cayman Islands often sits at the top of that list for both big businesses and individuals alike. The British Overseas Territory, which is situated off the coasts of Cuba and Jamaica, boasts zero corporate tax and zero income tax for residents. Its population is considered small at roughly 60,000 residents and is perfect for those who live for luxury and nature. Needless to say, two biggest industries in the Cayman Islands are banking, followed by finance with high interest rates. Number 6. Qatar. Qatar is a rich country thanks to its oil reserves and is also relatively open to the West. Only some companies require to pay income tax in Qatar. Salaries and wages aren't taxed, although some self-employment and other types of income are. This means most expats won't have to pay any Qatari income tax. The only tax being levied is the import tax, but that is also quite reasonable. All in all, it's a good and safe place to live if you want to evade income tax or start a small business. That being said, like most countries with no income tax, it's still difficult for foreigners to attain permanent residence since requirements are strict and few lawyers specialize in the area. To even be eligible, you must have lived in the country for over 6 years. Number 5. United Arab Emirates. The UAE has a thriving economy and a more multicultural environment than the majority of countries in the Middle East. It is well known for its oil wealth, mega projects, and their high quality of life. To be exact, the Emirates are several small Gulf states, of which Dubai and Abu Dhabi are the most famous. The country does not levy income tax on individuals, however, it levies corporate tax on oil companies and foreign banks. In terms of general livability, the UAE offers one of the most multicultural communities in the region. The expat population in Dubai and Abu Dhabi has soared over the past few years, with around 90% of the total UAE population being expats. Number 4. Bahrain. After the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain is probably the most attractive Gulf state because you can become a resident here without a company assignment or without getting married. Bahrain has no personal income tax. However, citizens must pay 7% of their income in Social Security, while expats pay 1%. There are also zero taxes on renting homes and stamp duties on real estate transfers. Overall, Bahrain promises a very prosperous future for all its residents. Number 3. Bermuda. Bermuda is considered a tax haven. However, Bermuda does levy a number of taxes, such as payroll tax on employers and land taxes. There is no corporate income tax in Bermuda, and a company is considered a tax resident of Bermuda if it is incorporated in the country. However, its relatively isolated location makes Bermuda one of the most expensive cost of living spots in the Western world. It is also known for having one of the most offshore companies in the world. Furthermore, it is much more developed than most Caribbean islands, with excellent roads and public transportation. And beyond that, from its famous pink sand beaches to its upscale restaurants, Bermuda is considered one of the most scenic and pleasant countries in the Caribbean. The majority of U.S. expatriates living in Bermuda are employed in the extensive financial sector that exists in the country. Number 2. Kuwait. Another tax-free Gulf state is Kuwait. Again, the abundant oil supply allows for tax exemption, but just as in most other Gulf states, acquiring a permanent residence permit is very difficult here. Almost the only option for this is to be sent into the country by a company. Also, the Kuwaiti dinar is the most valuable currency in the world. The high value of its currency is explained by significant oil exports into the global market. Number 1. Monaco. Well known as a perennial vacation playground for ultra-high net worth individuals, Monaco is considered a tax haven because of its tax laws and policies. A person must live in the principality for 6 months and 1 day out of the year to be considered a resident. Monaco does not collect capital gains taxes and does not levy net wealth taxes. Additionally, it has one of the lowest crime rates of any country in the world. However, one drawback is Monaco is also one of the most expensive places in the world to live. Accessing Monaco's income tax-free financial environment is quick but not cheap. A legal residence permit can be obtained in less than 3 months, but does require depositing approximately $500,000 in a Monaco bank. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more amazing content.